Yeah, I mean, I think I communicate mostly with probably like NECA and player leadership more than anything, and I try to do the best I can, you know. I always want to be respectful of everybody and treat everybody with kindness. Like, I think that's really important, but at the same time, relationships are really important to me, and I think we can always improve in that area. I think that can improve a lot of things. I think communication can improve overall. Me and Adam have a great relationship. I know he was here tonight supporting us, so that was great to see, and you know, I think we can just probably continue to improve in that area. And like I said, like, communication and relationships solve a lot of issues and a lot of...
Welcome back to the Buzzer Update. I'm thrilled to have you here with yet another brand new video. I hope everyone is doing well and that today's update will be enjoyable. There are some unexpected aspects in this narrative that you won't want to miss, so make sure to watch until the very end. Let's go right into today's major story without wasting any time. The alcohol started to flow as soon as her name was spoken. Team Spoon had just defeated Team Coop 129-122 in one of the most exciting all-star games this league has ever produced. After Caitlin Clark had just set fire to the scoreboard, the PA announcer called on Kathy Engelberg to come out and give the post-game award while the audience was still in a frenzy. That's usually just a formality. Rather, a commissioner departs, smiles, raises some hardware, and everyone cheers as the program resumes. The moment her name was called, the building turned against her before she ever held the award. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the content. It may surprise you to learn that almost 90% of viewers have not yet subscribed. Even though it only takes a second and is free, it means the world to us. Have you already subscribed? I sincerely appreciate your help. Let's return to the video now.
So Kathy is probably done. She is probably done as commissioner. It says here, Kathy Engelberg helped the WNBA capitalize on growth, but now her relationship with players is holding it back. Obviously they're talking a little bit about all this other stuff, and yeah, so a lot of insiders are saying this is Kathy Engelberg's last year, and it's so funny. People are like, oh yeah, she hasn't made any effort to prioritize a relationship with Caitlin Clark as one of like the negative things. And people are like, oh, they're just going to sign it.
Nor was there a single location where heckling was occurring. Similar to how she has been ridiculed by fans at previous All-Star games because of wage concerns and CBA annoyance, the piece was loud and persistent enough that broadcasters had to shout over it to keep it going. And that's what this is all about. This wasn't a raucous eruption from a frustrated fan base going through a difficult night. For the second year in a row, Engelberg has now been made fun of for attending an All-Star Awards presentation. Additionally, it becomes a message rather than an aberration when something similar continues to occur at the league's biggest annual showcase.
Owners, executive team executives, like, people are calling out Kathy Engelberg, man, saying she's just not fit for the job. It is getting crazy for her. Let's listen to what I think her name is Courtney. Let's listen to what Courtney had to say right here.
Engelberg has turned the WNBA into a mechanism for political discourse that goes off the rails instead of it being a sports engine. There is not a worse commissioner in pro sports than Kathy Engelberg. And I could go on for the entirety of this segment, but I'll give you this so we could, yes, I know it can be a little long-winded. The Dan Patrick thing, canceling the interview, saying that her PR arm told her that it wasn't a good idea. Well, you are the commissioner of the league. You can decide to go on and face tough questions. If you want your league to be taken seriously, stand out in front of some of the discourse that's going on around your league. You've allowed Caitlin Clark to become hijacked in narratives that have nothing to do with basketball.
It hurt much more because of the moment. Engelberg was already responding to questions over her possible comeback for the 2027 season when this happened over the weekend. And being ridiculed on stage in front of every camera in the building in the height of that speculation is the worst impression a commissioner can have. She still had to get up, present the trophy, and have a grin on her face while the chance remained. That scene serves as the basis for the rest of this story.
There was actually a report that came out today that says that the 2026 season will be Kathy's last season. Alexa Philippou said conversations with more than 20 stakeholders in and around the WNBA offer a general belief that for as much business growth as Kathy Engelbert has overseen, she's not the right person to navigate the demands of the league, the demands that the league currently faces, and what its stakeholders now need. I do think Kathy thinks, well, she's done her job, she's got us financially set up in the right way. It's the other pieces that we're talking about. Jeff Hunt, who is a specialist in crisis and reputation management, who has previously worked with the MLB, ATP, WTA, the PGA Tour, he said the hole has just gotten so deep. She's in a place now where I don't really know what she does. Others said that she had a failure to develop sufficient relationship equity. Multiple find it curious she hasn't prioritized developing a closer relationship with Caitlin Clark.
As a result, Engelbert rejected when asked directly in front of reporters during this year's All-Star Weekend in Chicago if she plans to keep this role in 2027. She mentioned how lucky she was to lead the league during a period of swift growth. She talked about momentum, milestones, and all the common expressions used by commissioners to avoid giving an honest answer. But she never once said yes. Furthermore, commissioners who are staying usually just say so she didn't mention going back. Everyone in the room knew exactly what that non-answer meant. Even the reporter who had a recorder pointed at her.
How she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. That's a mentality driving our league from the top. We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world. If I didn't know exactly what the job entailed, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But unfortunately for them, I do. We serve a league that has shown they think championship coaches and Hall of Fame players are dispensable, and that's fine, it's professional sports. But I will not stand quietly by and allow different standards to be applied at the league level.
To understand why the alcohol at Barclays wasn't simply some random group of folks having a bad day, it's crucial to travel back in time. This month is not where this narrative started. Fiza Collier sparked the flame last fall by accusing Engelbert's administration of irresponsibility and declaring unequivocally that the WNBA had the worst leadership in the world in an interview that effectively pushed the league office into full damage control mode in a matter of hours. It's hard to take that comment back. Once a guy with Kier's resume and reputation in locker rooms says something like that on tape, it doesn't just disappear into the news cycle. It stays there, gets repeated, and is referenced back at Engelbert in every press conference that follows.
Say that, quote, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the rights deal that I got them.
There's a lot of inaccuracy out there through social media and all this reporting. And so I think what's most helpful is to focus on, I have been in touch with Nafisa, we've exchanged texts, we're talking next week. So I think obviously a lot of reporting, a lot of inaccuracy about what I said or what I didn't say. And I will tell you, I highly respect the players. There's a lot of emotion and passion going on right now because we're in collective bargaining, we're in the WNBA finals. And so I'll leave it there. I mean, I'm just obviously disheartened. You know, I'm a human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. And so all I'll say is just, you know, it's obviously been a tough week. And I just think there's a lot of inaccuracy.
Engelbert did dispute a number of Collier's statements. She particularly denied a claim made by Collier to the league regarding a conversation involving Caitlin Clarksworth, saying it was false. Denials can only go so far, though, when the claim is this specific and this music is public. And that's the setting in which Caitlin Clark's comments this year were captured on tape. She hasn't been screaming at Engelbert. She hasn't made fun of her at a news conference, in contrast to Collier. She really doesn't have that style, and she never has. But she has also stopped pretending that everything in league leadership is fine. This year, she has spoken a little more loudly about the silent part for the first time in her career.
Engelbert, this is your final year. Adam Silver getting ready to fire her come year's end. This Alyssa Thomas, Caitlin Clark situation appears to be the straw that broke the camel's back. We are getting leaked information, and it's coincidence, right? Kathy Engelbert not only makes the WNBA look bad by not showing up to the Dan Patrick interview, the WNBA being under the umbrella of the NBA, in turn, you're making the NBA look bad as well. You're making Adam Silver look bad as well. You're making it seem like Adam Silver doesn't know how to pick the correct leadership when it comes to who's leading the WNBA.
Reviewing the Alyssa Thomas incident will help you understand why Clark's and Englebert's confidence has been eroding. Thomas used his hand to strike Clark in the throat during a game. The kind of play that, once you see it, is immediately repeated and doesn't need any explanation. Sources who talked with Sports Business Journal claim that Engelbert first had no intention of disciplining Thomas for it until Adam Silver intervened and made her reconsider. In the end, Thomas was suspended for 1 game. Engelbert imposed a fine and a flagrant foul penalty, but only after Silver stepped in behind the scenes. The WNBA responded by formally disputing the assertion that Engelbert had no intention of acting on his own. The story was told, regardless of whatever version you decide to accept. It spread everywhere. Furthermore, the fact that a ban only occurred as a result of pressure from the NBA commissioner is exactly the kind of information that makes players start asking very uncomfortable questions. Who is actually protecting their most marketable talent when it comes down to it? It's a problem that doesn't just disappear with a healthy quarter of viewers if the WNBA's commissioner isn't the answer.
Ultimately, the issues around Caitlin Clark are not largely about officiating, and that particular incident is not about whether a foul should have been called at the time in the game or whether that was ultimately a flagrant on review. And I've come to know Caitlin really well. She's an incredible player and also an incredible person. And she wants to focus on being the player she can. And she's become a bit of a political football in this country. And I think it's incredibly unfair to her. I don't think that issue is ultimately about officiating. It's sort of, it's become political ping pong with her. And she's a young woman who's trying to improve her game, right. Focus on being the best player as she can. And I don't even think it's fair to her that this...
Silver did not remain silent about any of this after the fact. When questioned particularly about the Thomas issue, he said that Clark had been treated harshly and that she had turned into a political football in our country. He cautiously added that he didn't think it was fair to either Clark or Engelbert to turn one heinous act into a bigger scheme. But when the leader of an entirely separate league starts publicly defending your player in your league on a topic that isn't even his to speak on, you can tell how much Silver really cares about getting this right. He didn't have to say anything. He chose to. That is also not new behavior for him. It's crucial to remember that this has been evolving for a while. It looked like a direct read on Engelbert's leadership, even if he didn't say her name out loud. At the time, there were rumors that Silver was secretly trying to patch things up with Engelbert behind closed doors while also applying public pressure as needed. There's a pattern there. Public restraint, private pressure, and intermittent public statements may occur when circumstances deteriorate to the point where being silent is no longer an option.
Tom Friend of the Sports Business Journal, Kathy Engelbert reportedly thought a suspension was too steep because a foul wasn't called live. But reportedly, Adam Silver saw clear evidence of a flagrant foul and urged Kathy Engelbert to act immediately. Now, the WNBA denies this account, but here's the part where the history matters in all of this. During Game 4 of the 2016 Finals, Draymond and LeBron James got tangled up on the floor. No flagrant foul was called live, but Adam Silver and the NBA reviewed it afterwards, assessing Draymond Green a flagrant foul 1, his 4th point, suspending him for Game 5 of the Finals. Now look at Alyssa Thomas. No call was called live. No flagrant foul was called live. But then after the game, elevated to a flagrant foul penalty to a suspension as well as a $1,000 fine. Different league, different player, but striking similar process. But here's where things get even more interesting. According to this report, those closest to Kathy Engelbert believed that she was in an unenviable situation where she didn't want to show favoritism to Caitlin Clark and also didn't want to overlook the fact that players felt overshadowed by Caitlin Clark, which is where reportedly her hesitation came from. But Adam Silver reportedly also...
On one occasion, he spoke extensively about Caitlin Clark's fame and the global fever during an Indiana Pacers broadcast. Without specifically naming any other WNBA player, he brought up ticket sales, jersey numbers, and foreign interest because it says a lot without saying anything. That's the kind of video that gets cut up and shared 100 times on social media. Silver has never tried to minimize or hide Clark's current influence on basketball as a business in either league for the sake of others.
Treat everybody with kindness. Like, I think that's really important, but at the same time, relationships are really important to me, and I think we can always improve in that area. I think that can improve a lot of things. I think communication can improve overall. Me and Adam have a great relationship. I know he was here tonight supporting us, so that was great to see. And I think we can just probably continue to improve in that area. And like I said, like, communication and relationships solve a lot of issues and a lot of problems.
This is the moment when this month's story really starts to stand out from the background. In what is widely considered to be one of the most spectacular games in league history, Team Spoon upset Paige Buchers, and Team Coop 129-122 in the 2026 All-Star Game. Clark was questioned about whether her relationship with league leadership had improved since the new CBA went into effect during the press conference that followed the game. She went on to say that there is still room for growth in many areas, and that relationships and communication can solve a lot of issues. According to Clark, she was in the same building where fans, media, and purported team executives had openly praised Silver and questioned Angelbert's leadership throughout the course of the weekend.
The WNBA has so much to be proud of, and I feel like we're always so focused on the negative when we can be focused on the positive. And WNBA leadership has created a lot of positives for this league too, and that should be celebrated. And Kathy has also brought a lot to this league and helped us reach new milestones. But there's always room for improvement in everywhere of a business. And I think we can just go back and reflect and find ways to get better. And but overall, I think relationships and communication.
And pay attention to what Clark decided not to do at that precise moment, because it conveys just as much as her words. She didn't publicly denigrate Angelbert. Instead, she gave him some credit by saying that the league has a lot to be proud of, and that Kathy has made a significant contribution and helped us reach new heights. Furthermore, there's always space for development. That's a thoughtful response. And anyone who has watched Clark interact with the media in recent years will see that she doesn't say things by accident. It's definitely not a total support, but it's also not a total criticism of Angelbert. Furthermore, since Silver's name appears prominently in the same phrase at the height of the year's speculation regarding Angelbert's future, it doesn't seem like something Clark landed onto by accident.
It will be. It probably will be Kathy's last season, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, and we also talked about this during the whole CBA thing. It was a disaster. And Kathy has done a lot of incredible things for the WNBA, and a lot of things that I personally have heard that have gone on behind the scenes that we actually don't see publicly. Like, she's done a lot to make sure that this league stays afloat. But again, it seems like it's more from the business side and not so much the relationships that she builds with players. And there have constantly been more and more players coming out and saying that they don't have a relationship with her and she's not doing great and things need to be better. And I do think that there has been just so many fires across the WNBA that haven't been put out quickly enough. Like, the PR hasn't been great, the marketing hasn't been great.
Silver has been quite cautious when asked directly if Angelbert stays past this year. He only stated that there hadn't been any recent discussions about her future plans when reporters asked him directly in March, shortly after the new CBA was signed, if she would continue in the role. The closest a sitting commissioner can go to stating, "We'll see," without really saying it is that. When asked about her performance again last month at the NBA Summer League, he gave a similar circumspect response, stating that he is very happy with the WNBA's current state, but obviously not endorsing her or pledging to keep her. However, the WNBA board is really answerable to the NBA because Silver was the one who first appointed Angelbert to the role upon her hiring. If he is ultimately selecting her replacement, or at least having a major influence behind the scenes, as commissioners of this caliber usually do, then players like Clark plainly view him as someone who truly understands what this league needs going forward. His fingerprints are already all over the succession discussion, whether he takes the chair himself or just names someone else. Whether or not the league administration decides to publicly acknowledge this.
She's been terrible. One of her number one problems is not publicly heading trouble off at the pass. And I'm talking about having a press conference, getting in front of people, and taking the bullets. She refuses to do it. Remember, she's literally at the same golf tournament where Dan Patrick is hosting his show, and she backed out. She ghosted him on an interview that went mega viral. after she did it because Dan Patrick drowned her and then so did everybody else. She refused to take...
To be honest, fans have learned about all of this much more quickly than the league office has been able to react to any of it. Since the release of the All-Star Weekend story, timelines have been inundated with recordings that juxtapose Clark's criticism of Silver with footage of Engelbert being jeered at Barclays last year. In essence, these recordings are creating the succession story themselves before the league has made any official statements about it. When asked about her personal employment position this weekend, Engelbert purposely remained evasive, according to ESPN, repeating platitudes like being fortunate to lead the league through a tough moment rather than providing a clear response to everyone in the room. Additionally, Clark has made it very clear who she trusts and who she is just putting up with for the time being while the business side works itself out, without ever raising her voice or directly insulting anyone. The league hasn't established a time frame, so it's unclear if Silver will play a formal role in selecting the new commissioner. However, if last month demonstrated anything, it is that Kathy Engelbert's hold on this position is gradually eroding, and Caitlin Clark isn't exactly rushing over to hold the door open for her as she leaves.